Hello everyone and Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, then Happy New Year. Today I actually want to talk about callouts, and I sort of want to supply some info on some callouts that you should be using that most people I see actually don't. And I also want to talk about people's callouts in general. So, callouts are usually the things like information you give to your teammates regarding other players on the opposing team. The most common callouts in Splatoon are usually when you die, and that proceeds with people spamming the Booyah command. And most people respond with something on my X, or like 10 attack on my X, so on and so forth. But see, here's the one problem with that. That would require them to look at the gamepad to see where the X is. The whole on my X thing came from games like Halo that had an on-screen radar, and so you can see exactly where your teammate died, and so you can see that X on the screen. However, in Splatoon, the map is displayed on the gamepad, so if someone says they're on my X, that would require them to look down at the gamepad to see where your X even was. Now, there are some people that don't say on my X, but rather they say on my Booyah. That's a bit better because you get this visual representation, or like this visual cue on the screen of someone that's saying Booyah, and you know in like, I guess, a general vicinity of where it is, and that's, I guess, better than saying they're on your X, because, like I said, they'd have to look down at your gamepad to see where the X was. But you might have noticed in my more recent videos, when I die, I don't even use the Booyah at all. And the reason for that is I've stopped believing that it's actually worth something, because in reality it actually isn't. Saying, like, defaulting to saying on my X or on my Booyah is not very helpful information, especially if they don't continue to feed that information as the opponent moves. You should be saying things that actually convey locations. So when someone kills you in the zone, you shouldn't say on my Booyah or on my X, you should say Tenatek is in zone, he moved to left zone, he's coming up to our plat. Things like that, instead of just saying on my Booyah and then respawning and going back. Now, about active callouts, and this is something that surprisingly not a lot of people do, and that's you should call things out as you see them. Now, that may seem like common sense to some people, but actually a lot of people don't do this, and that's if you see something happen or a player move in a certain spot, you should say where it's happening. A lot of teams just use callouts when they're dead, and that usually, results in problems where they could have avoided had they been notified beforehand. So say you're running around and you see the enemy charger has moved from one spot to another. That is a key callout to say, okay, enemy charger moved to closed, or enemy charger is moving back up to spawn, or enemy charger is back up on snipe. Things like that. Those kind of active callouts allow your team to see and predict what's going to happen next, and it's basically more in the moment rather than waiting till you die to say something. Now, callouts regarding gear. This is also something that a lot of people don't seem to do, and a lot of people are actually surprised that when I point this out, or like when I mention this, when an opponent has something like a bubbler or a kraken, and I die to said special or just die to them in general, I see how much special duration they're using, and then I always call out the amount of duration. This actually makes quite a big difference, as if your team is aware of the amount of duration they're wearing, they can accurately tame the Kraken or know when they should turn around and, act on the person who's now in their Kraken end lag. So I feel like more people should be calling that kind of stuff out. Like I said, more people actually get confused that I say it, and they're like, I don't know of anyone that does that. It's like, I feel like that's key information to say how much duration is being used, because they can actually save your teammates' lives. And another one is the enemy and their specials. So you can pretty much see when an enemy has their special, because they start glowing and whatnot. And then at the same time, when you kill someone who has a special, you should be calling these things out. So for example, saying A-Leader has Echo or has Kraken, Tenatech has Inkzuka, and then say you kill someone before they can use their special, say Tenatech dropped Inkzuka, E-Leader dropped Kraken, so on and so forth. Quite a decent amount of people say this, especially when it comes to invincibility specials, but I feel it's actually important with any special, because any information is better than no information. And knowing what specials are no longer in play until they're back is actually decent information. So when you kill anything that had a special, saying that they dropped it is actually helpful, and that should be used more often. And then regarding just overall callouts, I can't really say too much about them because a lot of teams and a lot of people have their own individual callouts. So there is no like general accepted callouts. Almost every team has their own, and I guess that's fine because most people are just gonna they tend to be pretty similar. So when one team's callouts are you're playing with someone else on a different team, you're more likely going to understand it. So basically, what I'm trying to say is I want more people to be more active with their callouts and say things as they see them. They need to be more aware of what their teammates need help with. So calling out duration on invincibilities is also helpful. Notifying your team of specials and when they are gone. So a lot of people you'll hear like I heard Inkzuka, because there's that audible sound effect of someone that pulls out Inkzuka, and so that's usually something you hear, or the sound of a crack or a bubble going out. That's a typical call out. But there needs to be more of that, and sooner of it. If you see someone with a special, you should be calling it out, and you should, like I said, call out when they're gone, and things of that nature. So, thanks everyone for watching, and I apologize if I sound really bad. I've been kind of sick. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all later.